purchased flower is 9 months old. Top shelf. Yeah, in the world's smallest kitchen. Blue dream. This is a blue nightmare. There's more stems in here than my grandmother's garden. 6 months old. 9 months old. This all needs to be thrown out. You're a bud tender who doesn't know shit about weed. Go back to California Pizza Kitchen. Expired, all expired. The vibe in here is dreadful. What is this, the DMV? Sterile, like a doctor's office. Delta 8, are you fucking shitting me?
Ahoy, tent pirates, plant parents, conscious consumers, and the morbidly curious. Welcome to Cultivation Conversation, a podcast for growers, by growers. Come chat with our hosts, Captain Autoflower, the Real Green Monster, and myself, Girl Go Grow. Grab a bouquet of your favorite flowers, apparatus of choice, and don't forget the fire while I tell you about the special companies that help keep this ship afloat. We are busy people, and we demand the best for our plants, so all three of us automate our grows with Autopots. Available in over 63 countries, gravity-powered Autopot systems rely on no pumps, no timers, and no power to operate. This plant-driven automated watering is so precise, it will reduce consumption of feed while increasing yield. An effective and efficient way to delegate a little responsibility. Let your plants feed themselves. Use code CC10 at autopot-usa.com. If quality is the name of your game, look no further than AC Infinity. AC Infinity's grow tents, lights, accessories, and ventilation systems offer reliability and affordability along with total environmental control. Use code CULTIVATION on acinfinity.com to save even more. Frass Valley produces the highest quality superworm frass. Naturally strengthen your plants and enhance their resistance to pests and disease. Use code CC10 at frassvalley.com. We are big fans of mass hydroponics. Whether you're a local in Massachusetts or accessing their full online catalog, they are your one-stop shop for all of your growing needs. Use code CC10 at mass-hydro.com.
What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land?
Yo, yo, yo.
Hello, my darlings.
What's going on?
Welcome back, mofos and grower joes and everyone in between. Welcome. One of the only shows you will find for growers, by growers. We don't pull punches. We don't fuck around. You know what I mean? Like we like to get down and dirty with some real world talk to help you grow the best medicine possible. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
Why we're all here.
And to have fun while we're at it. Thank you. I knew we were missing something. A little interior decorating. All right. So, man, I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a week.
I wonder why that could be.
It has in fact been a week. What are you guys smoking on tonight? What you enjoying?
So I guess I'll go first. We can kind of lead into maybe what we're talking about later on. I am smoking on some stuff called modified grapes. It's from a local dispensary. So last Friday I was out and about and I didn't have any weed on me. I left the house without it. Kind of fucked up, right? But anyway, I was like, man, I need to I need some weed. So I hit up a dispensary not too far from me.
Which one?
It's a place called Joint Operations. And anyway, I went in and I told them, what I was looking for. I was looking for something, indica dominant. I I don't care about THC numbers. I just whatever the highest terp percentage of whatever you got, that's what I want. He's like breaking out this. He's like, oh, this one tested at 32. This is your. Like, listen, I don't think you heard me. I want whatever the terpiest one you got is.
Yeah.
So he came back with this stuff called modified grapes, and it's quite delicious. It's pretty good, and it was $30 out the door for an eighth of weed. So I mean.
I've had modified grapes before. I think what is that? Grape pie and GMO?
Something like that. I totally don't remember, to be honest with you. But for 25, it was 25 plus tax. So it was like 30 out the door for an eighth of flower. Couldn't complain.
No.
How'd it look?
Pretty good. Camera's probably not going to do any justice, but I saved a little tiny bud here. But I mean, it's decent.
I mean, I can't even hardly see you, man. So
I know.
How are we going to see the? I can see it looks like a piece of weed.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good grown cannabis. It's grown here locally in Mass, but there are some issues with locally grown product here in Mass, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, I think we will. To be honest,
The dispensaries have come a long way.
They have.
They're not where
They have in some ways, and in other ways they
not
haven't.
where they should be. They're absolutely not where they should be.
So my
But I
question
think
to
they're
you,
better than they were.
I'll agree with you there, G3. I mean, shit. When the medical program started in our state, it was a shit show, an absolute shit show. They didn't even have flour in stock half the time because there weren't, they couldn't grow it in licensed facilities fast enough to provide the demand. Insane. But so my question to you, Monster, is what was the terp percentage? Do you remember?
It was like almost 3. It was like 2.9%. So
Nice.
I will say though, strangely, it was fresh when I opened it, but like a day and a half later, 2 days later, it kind of lost a lot of its vigor. And it dried out a little bit, even in the jar. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, for $30, I'm really not complaining. It was decent enough. In the same place, I could have actually grabbed that same eighth of flour for $1 the next day. They do what's called customer appreciation days on random Saturdays. And it just so happens that it was the next day. And I was like, well, I'm not coming all the way back here for an eighth of flour for $1. I got gaggles of weed at home. It's not worth the drive. But yeah, I mean, for $1, fuck, that's even better, right? Like it's like a sore prick. You can't beat it.
No. Jesus. Took me a second. I got it now. That'd be an awful injury. Yeah, terrible. So what about you, G3? What you got tonight?
I got Mango Smile.
Ooh.
Yay. No surprise there. I'm going to have her for the next few weeks, so.
Would it be fair to say that if you have Mango Smile, that's what you'd be smoking on every time?
It's pretty safe to say. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it's pretty safe to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nothing else
She
just
loves
works
those.
quite like she does. I love that mango. She's lovely. I don't know. We'll see. I've got
dumpster mango terps.
Yeah, I've got 4 more big girls, but they won't be coming down for like a month. So
Yeah, a month
it's gonna
left.
be Mango Smile for the next 6 weeks, let's say.
Cool.
How much is a gaggle of weed? A gaggle of weed is a gaggle of weed. Gaggles.
Is that what we're
It's just a
calling like a
Isn't that just a group
of weed?
geese?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta come up with like a much better term than that. Like you can't reuse it. Like there's always a different term, like a school of fish and a murder of crows and a
Business of ferrets.
yeah. Like there's. So what do we call like a bunch of pot plants together?
I don't know. We'll have to come up with that one.
It's best. We're posting best ideas in the chat for the next 30 seconds. We got a conglomerate of cannabis. I like that.
I do. I like that as well.
We got
That's a good one. It seems very
a
official.
bushel of pot, a bouquet. I like it. A bushel.
Yeah, bushel could work.
bushel
bushel is
of
an
bud.
actual measurement.
Oh, come on. Let's not get too complicated now, G3.
Is it? In our beloved
It might
customary
be that
system
deep,
of
I'm
liquid
saying.
measurements? Did you know that there's a measurement like a hogshead? You know what a hogshead is?
No.
About 63 and a half standard gallons. That's how much a hogshead is.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
How do you know that?
It was like, honestly, I'm not lying about this. It was on the back of those composition books that we got handed in elementary school. Remember those little, like...
I thought you were going to tell me a Snapple cap.
No, you got to question those, man. I never questioned the composition book, though.
Fair enough.
Just like it showed like conversion charts, and like the largest measurement of liquids that it showed me was a fucking hogshead. I'll never forget that.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, who knows? I'm sure they don't use them anymore, but... So yeah, I got some local skunk tonight. Yeah, you all know about the local skunk. It's happy weed.
Now, how skunky is it?
It's enough skunky that, like, I think if you smelled it, you would say it is skunky.
Okay.
It is not like the pungency of it is what is lacking. It's not like a slap in the face with the skunk smell, like if you ran over one on the road. You know what I mean? Or like your dog gets sprayed out in the woods.
Been there.
Not like that. But it is indeed the same combination of terpenes. Just makes like this, like, ugh, you know, it's kind of gross, but you know me, I kind of like that. That's my jam.
Yeah.
I like one that just kind of, makes me almost throw up in my mouth a little bit. And that's how I know I'm gonna get super high.
To each their own, I suppose.
Reverend says he measures in disappointment.
Oh, I love you, Rev.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sick fuck.
I love you guys. I love all you guys, man. For real, like, what is this? Show 140? You know how crazy that is?
Yeah. It's a couple of years. It's been 3 years now.
Yeah, sometime in April it'll be full anniversary. But wait, let me get back to this local skunk just for a minute. Like, and let me take my hit while we sing our song.
Oh yeah, I need to record that.
Did you already forget what it was, G3?
No.
You have it written down?
Nope,
What we need is like
somewhere.
one of those bouncing ball, like sing along with the lyrics type situation. And we need a melody. Full on musical
We need a
production of
melody.
this thing. For real.
Come on and hit the bong with our good friend Captain. What you smoking? Get to token or tell us what you're dabbing.
Thank you.
I did this version.
Yo, it tastes like it smells too. That's what I love about this stuff. Tastes
So,
like
in the
skunk.
great search for skunks in this run, would you chase any of these further in your quest? Any of those particular
Oh,
ones?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the highlights for me were the headband sour diesel and the local skunk in particular. Those two were the ones that I felt like most represented what I was looking for in like a diesel and a skunk. Now, of course, you know, I was just asked today, like, have I taken any clones? No, I haven't. You know, I'll be honest, I haven't even taken a single clone yet in my growing journey. I should have. But you know, I just don't have like the setup for it. I'm a seed man. I think I'm just a seed man. But like, to answer your question, yes, I do think like I'm I'm holding on to those bean packs. I shall be popping them to do some future breeding work.
Interesting.
If I can find, what I'm looking for again. I think the odds are high. I only popped like 3 beans. They were pretty consistent in all 3 phenotypes. So I'm confident I can find it again.
Okay.
Just making seeds, not breeding. You know what I mean? Fucking around and finding out.
It's fun to dabble in. Gives you a better understanding of the plant as a whole. Doesn't mean that anybody should just chuck pollen around and try to make a buck off of it, but I think everyone should breed.
It's a good point Bobby made. Better learn to clone before you try breeding. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, fair point, It's not, not for lack of opportunity. I mean, I guess perhaps a little bit just because I've grown primarily autos, and most every run I've done has been autos, so you don't clone autos. You just pop more seeds. So then when I grow photos, I'm just kind of like in this habit of not doing it, which I definitely need to break. And like, yeah, my thing too is I love variety. So no matter what I find, no matter how good it is, I'm always just, I always think I can find something better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's really the only reason you haven't really fucked around with cloning much is because you like variety. You know what I mean? You want to fuck around and do shit all the time.
I'm a variety guy for sure. We've talked about it. Like, if you smoke the same strain, like if I got married to this local skunk over here, and I just want to preface this. If my wife ever ends up listening, my feelings about cannabis do not reflect my feelings about women. I just want to say that. So if I smoke the same strain for the rest of my life, like, I'm going to get sick as fuck of that. It's not going to get me high anymore, and I'm not going to enjoy it. But, I need variety in that sense. So, but yeah, not with women.
Okay.
Well, who am I trying to convince, me or you?
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, bud.
Lay down on this couch. So, anyway, what I want to talk about tonight is a huge issue in our community, guys. Huge fucking issue.
Sounds serious.
Listen, once you understand the ramifications of what I'm about to say, you might agree. Okay, there are machines. They have tools now where, like, at a dispo, at like a massive grow operation, no matter how fucked up the end product is, no matter how mold infested the weed is, no matter how many spider mites are on that piece of bud, it will pass testing. And it will be labeled as, approved for medicinal consumption type. Like, it's bad, you guys. It's bad. The laws surrounding this stuff are very nebulous at best.
I think that's the perfect adjective.
What, nebulous? Yeah, I love it. I love using that word.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking and what the troubling part to me is that most people aren't even aware of what they're consuming, right? Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
So it is, man.
Hard
like
to find out if it's used or not, and I think that's the biggest problem, is the huge lack of transparency.
Absolutely.
I have asked, personally reached out and asked if different companies used remediation in the state of Pennsylvania, and I've gotten, I don't quite know, I'll have to get back to you with that. And I haven't heard back from anybody.
Of course
So,
you didn't.
It's really hard to find out if it's used. I would hope it would be a hell no, but like,
Oh,
No,
it's
I,
used.
I can tell you it's more widely used than you think, and
It's used.
and I wonder
especially
to what degree. Like, if you have moldy bud, I don't care how many times you tumble that thing around under a flashlight, you crack it open and there's going to be mold in there. Consumers are going to see that.
I'm not
yeah,
sure if they would.
in most cases the
would.
machine. No, in most cases the machine irradiates everything.
I can't imagine that. If you
Yeah, I mean,
inside
look,
of, like, a
it's if the
truly
fucking
moldy
thing's
bud-
covered in like white fungus, it's not like the thing can only go so far. It's not a miracle machine, but like
So what it can also do, apparently, and like I was,
I
we've-
love this. It's like the boogeyman.
we've heard about sprayed terpenes, right? Artificial or even naturally derived terpenes that are then applied to like a subpar cannabis product to make it smell like something it doesn't. It happens, and these same machines do it. They can rehydrate a way too dry of a product, like a crumbly old bud from like last year's harvest that's been sitting in a warehouse for someone could buy this for $400, put it through a machine, rehydrate it, spray fucking like Neapolitan chocolate marshmallow ice cream terps on it, and make it actually taste like that and smell like that.
In my experience, though, because I've ran into weed treated with terps, it only translates to the smell, not the taste. It's literally only the smell, in my experience, which is even like usually
It's just a dead giveaway.
It's a dead giveaway. Like
if it smells like like tapioca pudding and
just tastes like meh, you know.
Yeah, and it has no taste at all, or it tastes like last year's, moldy garbage product they were going to throw. Like, I think this is more common in our industry than we realize. And
well,
I'd love to
they're
know how common.
hugely common here in Massachusetts, to the point where in my estimation, I'd say more than 90% of facilities are having to remediate their product. And here's the problem, though. Most of the time, that product that they're remediating really shouldn't even be remediated. We're holding cannabis to some pretty ridiculously high standards, higher than the food you eat. And you could take a sample and bring it to a lab in Mass and have it fail, and then bring it to Oregon or Colorado or Oklahoma, and it would pass.
Right.
So-
like that show we had with Samantha.
Yeah, it's a
She
huge
was
problem
saying
here
that
in
if
Mass.
She sneezed in like the room next door, and her entire crop could fail.
so they're
Something
making
crazy like that.
they're creating like a necessity for this type of a product by these types of regulations, for sure.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side of that, though, there are people that are just that don't give zero fucks. They don't keep clean facilities, and they get PM or mold, and then they're remediating their product. So remediation in general gets a really bad rap
so it's
for that. But as it should be, remediation should not fucking exist. Okay, if your product it can't pass testing without it, then it should be fucking destroyed.
Yep,
I mean,
agree.
but at the same time, the testing, shouldn't be like as stringent as it is. And
No,
like
it shouldn't
pass
be
or
held
fail.
to a higher
I don't
standard
know.
to like an apple. If I go buy an apple at the fucking grocery store, I promise you it has a higher microbe count than anything you've ever smoked, and that's allowed.
I think the FDA allows, like, if I'm not mistaken, like something like 500 parts per million of like insect poop and exoskeletons, and it might even be more than that. They do have an allowable tolerance for
I
things
saw
that
a
should not be
video
in
the
your
other
food,
day
is
that
what I'm
freaked
trying
me
to
out
say.
about strawberries. This guy washed his strawberries, and dude, it was the critters that came off of that. I was like, holy shit. Like we've nobody washes their strawberries like that. Like I rinse them over the fucking faucet. Like that's about it. Like I'm not
for real
submerging them in water and vinegar and fucking baking soda.
And now think about like any company that makes jelly or any product out of strawberries. You think they're really, really washing those strawberries like that, or are they just fucking boiling the whole thing? And
we've probably all eaten tons of insects and haven't even realized it.
So,
and I mean literal tons.
And yeah, I'm not like while that is gross to think about, okay, it's like, can we prevent there being, can we really make the tolerance 0 parts per million of insect in our food? Like, can we really do that? Like, would that be productive? Like, because I think it's not going to kill you.
No, and in order to even achieve something like that, you'd have to be using some pretty gnarly pesticides. So I'm not down with that.
Sure,
I'd rather have a little
or
bit
you'd
of
have
bugs.
to grow it in a completely clean room in hydro with no microbes whatsoever, no living soil, nothing.
So, Master Yoda makes a great point. He says, considering this is a product that in many cases gets inhaled, I would assume keeping it at the same standard as tobacco would be fair. And sounds to that I say no, I want a higher standard than that. Because, I mean...
Well, I guess it depends what standard tobacco.
How about just food? Why don't we just go with food?
It's like if they can spray menthol fiberglass on like little sawdust particles and call that tobacco. You know what I mean? Like the quality is so inferior in like modern tobacco as compared to like, listen, I'm not a smoker, but like you ever smell like grandpa's pipe, like real good tobacco? That ain't what a cigarette smells like, is it?
No.
A pre-roll, basically. So, like, I want higher standards than that.
Well, it needs to be a standard of it being a medicinal product, really. And if it goes rec.
Nah, you see, because I think
I do think it should be considered medicinal if it's going into our body.
No, because that's just too high of a standard.
Why?
Like, because it's ridiculous. Like, we eat food that is held to
gastrointestinal system, though.
To a lesser
than your respiratory system.
Okay, I can agree with that. Like, there should be a certain standard, though, and we need to try to figure it out, because I promise you the standard that we have here in Massachusetts is not necessary at all.
I would agree with that.
And when you throw in the medical part to it, I think it clouds things even more, and just kind of muddies the waters per se.
G3, we're getting messages that your mic is very low volume tonight. Is there a way for you to adjust that on your end? Just a heads up. I'm sorry to disrupt the flow of the convo, but
I just turned her up a little bit.
Oh, cool. Hopefully that's better, guys. Yeah, let us know. I think the standards need to be extremely high, while at the same time acknowledging that, like, if you make them too high, the barrier to entry for the industry becomes inaccessible. You know what I mean? For like small farms, for like startup companies. I mean, really, when we talk about overregulation, like it's a thing that big companies, the MSOs, want to happen particularly. And that's like, overregulation will lend itself to more companies remediating all of their weed, which, from what I understand, it can be a number of forms. Like sometimes they can steam it. It depends what the product needs. They could steam it. They can irradiate it with like microwaves, right? Just add radiation.
The initial use for this machine that they fucking zapped the weed with was designed to sterilize blood.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, who was the first to figure out, like, if I put my weed in here, it'll kill all the fungus and
wild
little critters running around on it. Yeah, listen, guys, this is reason number like 1,286 of why you need to grow your own weed, especially as we like hurl ourselves into the future of legal cannabis, because there's no fucking Congress critter that's going to figure this stuff out. No one that, trust me, they are not going to come to a conclusion that we agree with, let alone that makes like any fucking sense at all about any of this. So like, you know, have the tools in your toolbox to avoid the dispo. Make your own medicine. We don't need to worry about spray terps. Okay?
I don't think you see much spray terped weed in dispos, at least around here. That shit wouldn't fly.
Dude,
I think you see that more in the black market.
I've seen it in, like, so I live in the black market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see it in my area. Mm-hmm. I see it in emerging markets as well, like with very low, like, consumer knowledge about products. And they put it in, like, a very, very flashy, colorful Mylar pack. And I'm telling you, they call it something like, you know, liquid unicorn candy. Like, dude, no, like they call the craziest things, like marshmallow terps. Like, cannabis is capable of almost any smell on earth, I imagine, okay? But like a distinctly artificial marshmallow.
Yeah, you see it all the time, like, especially in carts. Somebody just said that. Like, because carts are made with distillate, there is no taste in distillate, so they do add terps back, and there are very, very few of them actually using natural terps. Most of them are all synthetic.
The liquid live rosins are all natural stuff.
Yeah, a lot, but like a lot of that live rosin has its own terps, you know. But like the distillate carts, which are pretty much more prevalent than anything else, that's literally just THC distillate with added terps. And if you've ever done the research, and you can buy terps, you can buy synthetic terps, you can buy natural terps. The natural terps are literally like 10 times the cost of other, you know, synthetically made bullshit terps. So if you are buying carts, you know, and they offer live resin carts or live rosin carts, I would look more into something like that. They're definitely more expensive, but I think you're getting what you pay for.
Oh, dude, I always, if I'm going to get carts, like, you know, for travel, stuff like that, I find it useful. If I'm going to, like, concerts, events, right? You got to have a cart.
Brittany Griner loved them, too.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said Brittany Griner loved them, too.
Did you call me a girl?
Oh, you remember her story? Bitch fucking got locked up in Russia.
Oh, shit. Yeah, dude. No, I forgot that, dude. I forgot that name. Isn't that funny how fast, like, news cycle goes?
Such a stoner.
She got locked up. I know. I'll try to avoid that in the future. But, like, I always get live resin or rosin because it gets you... It's a much better high. I mean, it, like, entourage effect. You know, you got everything in there, not just an extra, like a distillate single, like, THC extract. It's wild how much.
You know what's crazy is those things make me cough like a motherfucker too, and I still don't even get high.
Really?
Like distillate carts, fucking useless. Fucking useless.
THC.
I see no value in those. Like I have one. I keep one in the car, right? And just like every now and then, like, fucking, I'd rather rip my Dr. Dabber.
Well, it is, again, like, I think there's a lot more of it going on in our industry than we like to admit, or most of us even realize, because, like G3 mentioned, there's no labeling for this type of stuff, and it is literally impossible for you to find out if a remediation process was part of, you know, the SOPs of your local dispo. They don't want to talk about it, and I don't want radiation on my weed before I smoke it.
No.
I would rather smoke, like, a medically insignificant amount of insect exoskeletons, just personally.
Yeah. I mean, you probably do anyway without even knowing it. So, yeah.
It's those fungus gnats, man, that gets you. Those super terpy.
You get that, like, you see that, like, extra little spark in the bowl when you light it.
You're like, oh God, that was a wing.
Oh, gross.
Oh, fuck.
We've all done it. I mean, listen, it's part of the game. But I will say, I've had like really good luck, good success lately without. I've had no fungus gnats lately because I've been pre-treating all of my media with that. Man, I forget the acronym now. That one fungus, that one microbe we all love, the Israeliensis. BTI, thank you. I knew someone in the chat would help us. Yeah, BTI. Not a UTI. A BTI.
Gave my plants a UTI. How the fuck you do that?
Thuringiensis Israeliensis. Yeah, dude, how would you do that?
I don't want to know
about it. Dude, I mean, really, this stuff's a must-have for anyone dealing with fungus gnat infestation. I haven't dealt with them since. But yeah, I wanted to just throw that out there because I do want to get into another pit, like a booby trap. There's a good word for it. Because once you decide that you want to, fly the pirate flag high, grow your own, despite your local laws, whatever they say you can and can't do. Once you decide you're going to do that for yourself, and congratulations, that's a big step in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
You've gotten this far. Then you go on the Google and you type in cannabis seeds for sale.
Oh, God.
And what comes up? I mean,
I think you like Crop King and ILGM.
You know what comes up. Yes. Yeah. Seedsman, Royal Queen, Sensei Seeds. Here, I'll just share my screen real quick so you can see what we have. If we do a quick Google search to buy cannabis seeds on the internet, we're a noob. We're just looking for our first pack of beans right now. Sensei, Seedsman, Royal Queen, and another Sensei link. From my understanding, guys, most of the breeders out of Europe, and if I'm not mistaken, all of these companies are European seed distributors. Most of these companies are owned by the same person. They source their genetics from the same places.
Well, you can find decent shit on Seedsman, but there's also a lot of boof. The rest of them, like, no thank you. No, thank you for the top listings there.
Dude, there's a lot of white labeling going on, misrepresentation of what's going on. Like, do we want to go to Quora? Do people even go to Quora
Dude,
anymore?
Quora should be shut down. Have you ever seen, like, advice on that shit? It's fucking unreal. Like,
I'm thinking I'm going to see, like, an Ask Jeeves pop up. Good Lord. So, like, I'm actually... Look at that, a Mass Hydro link for Night Owl. I'm extremely surprised to see that pop up. I wonder if that has anything to do with my own search history.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
We got like Reddit discussions. We got ILGM, we got Dutch Passion, Royal Queen, Barney's Farms, Amnesia, Hypno Seeds.
What the fuck? None of these
Okay.
are
There's
like
actually seeds here now. Okay,
Seeds Here
I
Now is
bought a
good.
couple
Yep.
things from them.
Yeah,
Okay,
but Seeds Here Now is
reputable,
legit. 100%.
reputable.
Yeah.
But like, listen, guys. What my point is that this industry is rife with deception, if you want to be kind about it, and like fraud, outright fraud at its worst. You know, like they're gonna try to, they're gonna try to sell you shit that they're gonna tell you it's something that it's not actually what it is. That kind of stuff, guys. Like you gotta watch your ass.
100%, man. There's just so much garbage out there. And if you're new and you want to know maybe some recommendations on, where to possibly buy seeds, let us know. I mean, we can fucking point you in the right direction. You should know by now, if you're listening to the show, people who we approve of. And I don't want to go over everybody now because I feel like I'll forget somebody and somebody will get butthurt. But
listen, we have our favorite sources, but like, my perfect world, like, you contact the breeder, you contact the person who makes the seeds themselves in their own garden.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all like, we should all support the small scale craft breeders a lot more like than we do. I know our community does. That's what, like, we're super good at that. But like, man, just people are just lazy, I think, when it comes to buying stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they'll just do a quick Google search, buy the first couple things that pop up.
I don't even know if they
know better.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't even necessarily know if it's lazy. It's they really just don't know any fucking better.
True.
And like you see it all the time. Like just go to Reddit. Like, it's full of people growing ILGM, Royal Queen seeds. Fucking, I'm surprised Crop King didn't pop up there.
Yeah, me too. Maybe, I don't know.
They're the booth masters.
So, and it's like, it's weird how kind of all their websites like look very similar. They're all like, have the same SEO optimization going on.
Yeah,
like
they're all selling White Widow and Northern Lights and AK-47. And it's like, they're literally just trying to grab your nostalgia. And I promise you, you're not really growing those strains. Like, and I've actually seen some pretty good shit like that's come out of those places. Like, I had a friend who bought some shit off Crop King. He got some Widow from Crop King, and it actually turned out to be really good smoke. But it wasn't White Widow, whatever it was.
That's the point. Exactly. It's not what they say it is.
No.
It's misrepresented.
Look, everybody is, I see people say that they fell for that shit. Like, look, it's
we all did it, dude. I mean, my first purchases were definitely from European seed banks.
Yep.
And I'll shout them out. Like, I grew some Dutch passion plants. My first go, like they were autos. They auto flowered. They like grew big and healthy plants, but like they just didn't have that like that oomph that I'm looking for. It was definitely mids. Now that I'm looking back on it, I could admit to myself I grew mids.
Yeah, you can find winners possibly in some of this stuff. Somebody had mentioned that Alabrija used Royal Queen's seed. Amnesia Haze, but like overall, there's like there's so many more. So much better places to buy gear from than somebody like that.
And again, like I think ultimately it comes down to selection, and I'm like 100%, man. You can pop, like, people have popped random bag seeds they found in like a hermed pack of whatever they picked up, like you can find gems anywhere. Okay. That being said, most of us want to know the lineage of what was worked with and how we got to the point where like we're calling it what we are. You know what I mean? If I want White Widow, I want White Widow.
Yeah. Good luck finding somebody reputable that has White Widow.
Well, it's like White Widow is one of those strains that it's like, who bred that to begin with? Who do
I
you
don't
go
know.
direct
Not
to
even
the
sure.
breeder for that? You can't.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of those kind of legendary strains, such as like all the ones that come up in your Google search, you know, like the ones that people aren't working with anymore.
And you know, like companies like Dutch Passion and Bonnie's Farm, they actually used to be really high quality seeds, but they've fallen behind. And Dutch Passion in particular and Barney's, really, they both jumped on the auto bandwagon kind of late and just kind of threw shit together just to be able to produce auto seeds. I haven't grown any Dutch Passion autos. I've grown some of their photos, but I've grown some Barney's Farm autos, and they were fucking mids at best.
Yeah.
Just not that good, you know?
Oh, I don't even know how I could forget. I'm not even sure how I could forget about Fast Duds.
Yeah, we all know how I feel about Fast Duds here.
I want to give a special fuck you out to Fast Duds, one of the most irreputable autoflower companies that I think, like, and listen, if they win another fucking autoflower cup, I am just gonna lose my shit. Okay? Yet again, like they're always winning the contests for the best breeder, best strain, best flower. Like, I've had it up to here. It's impossible. Like they are a white label seed company. There is no fucking way on earth that they have fire like some of our favorite autoflower breeders. You know who you are, you know? I refuse to believe it.
Same. Most people aren't aware that they have a huge marketing budget, and they pay people to grow their gear, and they'll send free seeds, like the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely.
They reached out to me back in the day. I told them to go fuck themselves.
That's like anyone with a YouTube channel, anyone with over like 1,000 followers have gotten that message.
Yeah. Not to say that you can't find some good shit in their gear, but I still think that there's better people to buy seeds from. Like I was saying, like people like Dutch Passion and Barney's Farm. Yeah, you could find some good shit in their gear probably, but like they used to be the top dogs. They're not even close to it anymore. And why would you not want to buy from somebody that you could actually reach out to and talk to about their product? I mean, these days there are people that are doing high quality work in small batches. Even as big as Night Owl is, he's still like, I still consider him craft. Like he's not like, he can only produce. He produces beans and sells out. Like that's it.
Yeah. Like he does a drop, and that's what he's done with it. It's not like there's a never-ending supply of a given. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And look, I'll probably catch a little bit of flack from this, but even I think Mephisto has dropped off a little bit. So maybe a little too big for their britches, in my opinion. And not to say that their shit's bunk. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I think there are better autoflowers out there than what Mephisto's offering. Just go see their old partner Daz at Night Owl if you want a piece of Mephisto, in my opinion. And then you get people like Alabrije, Big Green Guy, Outcast, Goonies, people that are actually putting passion into autoflowers.
Exactly.
Even 2020, seems to really have a passion
they love it.
For autos. So
you can message any one of these people, any one of those people Monster just mentioned. You could message on IG, and they will respond to you like, I mean, within pretty, they will respond to you is what I can say. They will talk to you about lineage, like why they made the selections they did, everything you want to know about that strain. Like those are the breeders I want to work with. Those are the breeders I want to promote.
Yep.
If you're too big for that, I don't want to talk about you. You know what I mean? Like I think we can all, and it's a weird dichotomy too, because while at the same time I understand that like the odds of finding the best keepers in like 1,000 plant pheno hunt are way higher, right? Than like out of a dozen plants in a 4x4 in someone's basement, right? Mm-hmm. So we think logically like larger scale equals better selections, better seeds, better breeding. That makes some logical sense, but like it doesn't, because it loses the passion, it loses like the purpose, it loses like one person like going through each of those plants and like, I don't know, having like that purpose behind it. My own opinion, of course. So yeah, work with the small guys, man. Support your small local breeders. And fuck anyone who shows up on the first page of Google.
Pretty much. I mean, 90% of it, yeah, it's garbage. And like, look, if you want to support somebody who has a little bit of everything, check out Mass Hydro. He's got quite a selection of beans at reasonable prices. So, autos, photos, whatever.
At the very least, we want to know like what we're growing is what it's being said that it is. I do, at least. Yeah,
there are a lot of banks that sell breeders' gear out of packs. They split up packs, and you don't even get it in the breeders' pack. That's fucked up. Like that. So, that's why, like, quite frankly, honestly, I don't like doing seed trading with anybody. Like, unless I really, really know you. Like, how do I know that you're giving me what I like got? Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless I'm getting a sealed pack.
True.
Like trading one or two beans here and there, you know. I just never really liked the idea of it personally, you know, unless I like know the person, you know.
You're not a very trusting individual, are you?
No, because well, I mean, with shit like that, it's like you know, I've been fucked before. Like I've made trades over the internet with people. Yeah, and gotten shit, and it was whack.
Think how easy it would be to just put two random beans.
That's what I'm saying.
That like you don't know what they are, you don't care what they are. Someone just
They could have been from the fucking bag of weed that you got. Like
yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's so, and you know, while I will say it's a lack of regulation that causes this kind of Wild West nature of our industry. I'm not in the industry, but like the industry, I don't want to see it over-regulated at the same time, because that it's like, man, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's coming in. I have it tonight.
Going right to the dome. Yeah, you reminded me. I need another one. Garden talk, guys. Garden talk. Where are you guys at in your grows right now?
So, I got a couple of things going on. I am just about to flower out some of the Pure Michigan lemon carver crosses from Jat. I popped 12 seeds, culled 2 of them right away because they were kind of small and wilty. Culled another couple, ended up with 6 total. So we're about to flower those out in solo cups and just see what we get. And I have cuts of them before I flower them. Then
he's smart. He always takes cuts.
Well, yeah, because I want to be able to keep it. And I'm week 1 of flower into the Tino's strawberries. Starting to get some interesting scent there. Not quite strawberry. I'm getting more gas right now than strawberries, but it's I'm sure it'll change a little bit as it goes along. And this is a seed run, which I normally don't do. And I am seeing some variations in plants. Like I have one plant that's really just not that happy, and it's getting the same treatment as all the others. It's huge. It's a big plant, but getting some yellowing in the leaves. Just not quite like thrilled with whatever's whatever's going on. And that's what happens when you grow even all the same strain from seed. You're going to get a different pheno that might just want something a little bit different, so I have a strange suspicion that it may be my fault from when they ran dry. Maybe this one just needs a little bit of a flush, and that's actually something I'm glad this came up. I don't know if I talked about this, but when you have a severe dry out like that and your plants don't get water for 3 days, you don't want to just water them with your normal strength nutrient at that point. You want to go really, really light, really light, and like almost next to nothing. At least that's what I did in that case, and just for a day or so.
Because there will be like leftover residual like nutrient buildup in the dry medium that will then be like activated when you
the EC rises pretty heavily in the rhizosphere when it dries out like that. So you don't want to push full strength newts back to your plants when you have a heavy dry out like that. And this kind of goes into, if you look into crop steering, I hate the term, but like drybacks, wet dry cycles, if you look into the science behind that and look and how to do it, you're not feeding the same strength every time. It's going to be a little bit different, like when you rehydrate from the dryback, and then you proceed with your regularly scheduled program.
It's taking advantage of like that. When you rehydrate a over dried medium, you are then delivering like a concentrated shot of nutrients to the plant,
basically.
In that next watering, it's so like you can play around with that in like the crop steering sense of the word, but like I know I hate that word too. It's just
listen. I like if you know what you're doing, playing around with drybacks and wet dry cycles is definitely beneficial.
You're just gardening,
but like I just don't like the term crop steering. I get it,
dude. You know what term bothers me when I hear the crop steering lingo is like the generative cues and what does that mean? Generative cues.
I don't fucking know.
I'm sure it's like they'd probably have like a chart and point to a bunch of like. Listen, it's like you salesman car speak to me. In my ears anyway. I just hear a bunch of people that want to sell you stuff. They're trying to like rename things that you already know of and put new terminology on old things to sell you new products. It's a great trick. It really is.
Yeah. Yep. It is. And then I'm almost finished. I have my window right in front of me. I have a window that I blocked off. I have a little box that I made for, and I'll actually show that. I'll probably have that ready to show on the next podcast, but it's a stealth vent box. So from the outside, it just looks like a piece of wood holding up a window, but it's actually ventilating out your exhaust. So you basically just it's like two pieces of wood sandwiched together, spaced apart, but on the side facing the interior, you have your hole cut out for your exhaust. And then you just put that in the window, open your window, put it in, and it all goes out and nobody sees anything. It's better than having like a dryer vent or something like that if you're trying to be stealth. And I have no reason to really be stealth here. I mean, it's legal to grow here, but I just don't want it outside, like obvious outside, hey, I'm fucking growing dope in here, So, yeah. And I have them right here, ready to go. We're going to plant some big green guy. I have the Odin's Express.
Hell
That's
yeah,
Zandalica Express.
A little autoflower action.
Yep. Courtesy of Big Green Guy. Some Fem Auto. So we're gonna plant those and see how it goes.
We'll see if you can not fuck them up this time.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to grow organically. I'm going to grow how I know. So
Nice.
yeah, I'd say
Then
the area
you'll
is
be
about
spot on.
the area is probably about a 4x4. I actually haven't even measured it, but I'm going to throw I have a 480 watt quantum board. I'm going to throw up there, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be pretty basic. I'm gonna because I really don't want to have to fuck with environment or anything. I'm going to run them 24 hours, and you'll get to see how they do under 24 hours of light.
Oh yeah, autos under 24 hours of light.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for them already.
They will be fine.
It's doable. They'll be fine.
They will be fine. It's like
you won't even notice a difference. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now. You really won't.
Things need to rest.
Like for my own plants and your own plants, G3. Like we like to believe that there's some kind of special magic that happens during the dark.
I'm not even
period.
doubting that at all. But I really don't want to go nuts with this. I want to have like a basic grow. I don't want to have to put a DHU in here or anything like that. And when lights go out, if you're not running a DHU, I'm sorry, you're fucking doing it wrong. Because the humidity will spike when the lights go out. There's just nothing you can do about that. That's gonna happen. Maybe future grows, I will, because you know me. I'm an automation guy. I'm a techie guy. But I would definitely have to run another branch circuit up here. Obviously, this room has like 20 outlets, and to an amateur, you would think that you could just plug in whatever you want. But I promise you, they're all on the same circuit. Doesn't matter how many outlets you have in your room. You can only plug in so much. And a 480 watt light, plus all my computer gear. I run my own file server. It's enough power there between fans and stuff like that. That's pretty much going to be maxed out at that point. So I do need to run more power up here if I want to run a DU.
It's very unusual. We see in the chat, Nicholas Hagee says, I'm sorry if you didn't want your real name said. If that even is your real name.
Well, he's commenting on the video, so it's going to be shown anyway.
The humidity at night, for me, drops like a rock unless it rains.
Where are you located, if you don't mind saying?
That's strange, man.
Yeah. You must be in a really warm environment.
Perhaps. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a unique environmental conditions that they're all dealing with. The south,
like your ambient humidity might drop, but
he says he's in the south.
In the south, okay.
So maybe it just gets super humid at night, or no, he's saying it drops at night. It drops at night. Gets high in the day, drops at night. But so is your grow is indoors in a tent with lights. We're talking also about
indoor
lights
grow
off being the dark time too in your tent, and at least in my own experience and Monsters too,
I do have central AC here, which will definitely help a little bit, but I don't know, I may fuck around with it, because look, at the end of the day, I don't want to give my plant 24 hours of light. I think it's a waste of energy. I don't see any real value in it, to be honest with you. The only reason I would suggest anybody to do it is if you don't have the means to environmentally control the night cycle, which is important. It's huge. I fucking promise you that. If you're, unless you live in, a really warm climate, like our boy Nicholas over here, generally speaking, inside your tent, humidity will rise when lights go out.
So I think we found our answer. Nick says he does run his lights at night.
Well, you go.
Maybe we're talking about nighttime being your daytime for your plants, and that's why your humidity drops. Because when your lights are on in your tent, that's when your humidity goes down. And Monster just doesn't want to fuck around with having to set up environmental controls.
It'd be interesting. I'm going to experiment a little bit. We'll see if a 8-inch AC Infinity can actually regulate nighttime humidity. I doubt it. And not to mention too, it'll get too cold. I don't like those swings, because I run I'm chilling in the summer It's like a fucking igloo in here. Like my house stays at like 65,
cool.
66. So
Yeah, you don't want it that cold, right?
that's too cold for a plant at night. You'd have to heat it a little bit. In my opinion, it's just too much. Going from like 86 to fucking 66, that's too much of a swing for
What's
my
your
liking.
ideal nighttime temps?
No more than a 10, 11 degree difference.
So if you're running 82, 84.
I run 84, and I usually drop down to like 82, 81, 80, and later on in flower. My nighttime temps are set to 72.
All right. I was going to say, it can't be less than 70.
No. And when you have the lower you let your nighttime temps go, the higher your humidity will go. That's just science.
Yeah.
So I try to keep them, on the warmer side. And when the warmer you run your plants during the day, the more photosynthesis you will get if you have the light to push them, right? So
Yes.
I do try to run a little bit warmer. Plus, it actually saves you a little bit of a dough on AC costs if needed, or even exhaust costs. The higher temperature you can run, the less you have to pay in energy costs to cool it.
Well, I agree with you there, man. I think they're actually finding like temperature is one of the variables that like affects plants' growth the most.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
yeah. Like we talked about it before. People are chasing the VPT dragon. If your temperature isn't high enough, I don't care what VPD you're set at, you could achieve that whatever number you're looking at, whatever 1 point whatever, and at any temperature.
Yes, set your temp and then adjust your humidity.
Set your temp and then get your humidity to correspond to that. For some reason, people have a hard time grasping that
They're like,
message.
oh, my VPD is perfect. It's like, well, what's your temps? I'm running the 73 in the
Dude,
daytime.
I see that all the time. 73, 74, and I just want to be
It's
like,
not
no,
warm enough, bro.
stop, please.
Yeah, it's not warm enough.
Yeah, it fucking grinds my gears, man. It's like that's my biggest pet peeve. We talked about it before. You're not using your fucking AC Infinity fan correctly. You got this fancy control box, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi enabled, and you're fucking it all up.
you know that person with the 72 degree temp has their exhaust fan on all the time. You know that's the case. It's always on speed 6.
Yeah.
6. Wow.
Yeah, no, like I see it all the time. I really do. I see it all
10
the
walls
time.
are sucking in, things about to implode on itself.
Yeah, I'm literally that guy. Well, take this as a sign to get your shit together. Generally speaking, I'll help you out here, guys. Generally speaking, we've talked about this before. You want to set your parameter to high temp to kick on. You can set a minimum threshold, like what you want the fan to be. No, we just know growers, man. I'm telling you.
I've seen it. So it's all out of love. Like we love you guys and we want you guys to do well. And I see it constantly. You think like, 73 is warm enough for me. It's like, it should be fine, right? I'll just adjust my humidity. My VPD will be 1 if you're even thinking that far ahead.
And I'm not telling you that you can't grow, that your plants won't grow at that temperature. I'm just telling you, you're not getting the best out of that.
Yeah, not ideal.
Nope, not ideal at all.
Are we watching it? I am. I got cameras. Got cameras in your room, my friend.
Yeah.
No, guys, like we're not watching you, but that's we want you to grow as if we were. Like have that kind of creepy feeling in the back of your mind that is Captain watching me right now?
My grower's a mess.
Captain is watching.
Yeah. Dude, one of these days we ought to do it like fucking tour people's home grows and like
I would love to.
And fucking like bar rescue style.
Yeah, dude, like shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah. None of this is right.
This is we cannot serve this.
Yeah. What are you growing? ILGM? Fucking rip those things out of there. Yeah.
Like Gordon Ramsay, like, are you fucking insane?
Yeah.
We'll just be, like,
It starts off with you sitting in their living room sampling their product. Like, they bring it out, like, this is fucking terrible.
This is utterly disgusting. I'm horrified. No, it's, again, all out of love, like, but like we all can use a little like encouragement and kick in the ass from time to time. I know I can, but like, think sometimes that we are coming in to like judge you on your cleanliness and your operations.
Here's a fun fact.
Oh my God.
Did you know a dirty fan uses more electricity and gives you less output? Isn't that something? You pay more and get less because you don't clean it. So, and it also wears out the motor faster. So your fan dies. So clean your fucking fans.
I totally forgot to mention that I did that over this week.
You cleaned your fans?
Yeah. For the first time in a long time. Okay. In way too long. Like, I am one of those people that, like, real life gets in the way, guys. Real talk. I'm not a pro grower. I don't devote my whole life to this. I had dirty ass fucking fans. Okay. Disgusting fans hanging in my tent. I could see the dust build up. Okay. So, like, I took them down, unplugged them, took them down. I like unscrewed them, took the cage off, took the blade out. It was so fucking disgusting, man. Like, I can't even describe to you.
I bet you too. I'm not now, because you're keen on sounds, right? I'm willing to bet that when you reassembled that thing clean, you're like, it sounds different.
Oh yeah,
like it's fucking like because honestly, I can actually hear that a dirty fan. I'm not even kidding you.
Dude,
like when I walk,
struggling, like wheezing engine.
Yeah, and the backs of the motors too, like on the back of the fan, that gets caked up with dust too.
Oh yeah.
So usually I like to take a little air and fucking blow them out. Yeah.
Yeah, again, Nicholas, you got a good idea. We'll call this show Tent Nightmares. Like, maybe I'm not the best host for it because, like, I had a little bit of a nightmare in my own tent this week with the fan cleanliness.
Yeah, man, but look, you came and you talked about it. You didn't, I
came clean. Come clean.
And in more ways than one.
You know what else I'll come clean about right now? In front of, live mea culpa? I had fucking algae in my humidifier. Like, it looked like a disgusting, like an algal bloom. Thank God it was green, not red.
That's why you need to get one of them outside the tent humidifiers.
It was so gross, man.
Yikes.
Yeah,
humidifiers what even happen?
If you keep it outside of the tent, like a Monster DIY humidifier or one of them AC Infinity jump offs that you can get, the humidifier stays outside the tent because the algae comes from the grow lights, the powerful lights hitting the water. That's where the algae comes. Or if sometimes if they're like near a window, but generally speaking, they shouldn't get algae. They do get cruddy though. Definitely get fucking nasty unless you're using RO water.
Blocked from the light, and then you won't get algae growth.
Yeah, probably. But then I question its effectiveness
in the dark. Yeah.
So like mine sit outside the tent because I do the DIY one, like where it's just a tote and then a tube goes into the tent. So I don't have that problem. But mine get cruddy because I don't use RO water with them.
I get the scaly build. Too.
Yeah. I try to use dehumidifier water to fill the humidifier, but it's not a perfect world. It doesn't always work out that way,
Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio there that you use, but guys, like at least I'm admitting my problems, and at least I least I did
It's the
something
first step.
about it. At least I cleaned them. You know, the humidifier took a little more work than the. Actually, I don't know. They both were kind of a bitch. Not gonna lie. Cleaning the fan sucks. So does cleaning a humidifier. But if you don't do it,
Inline fans
we are
too
watching you. Is my
get
point.
pretty get pretty cruddy.
Your what does?
The inline fans, like your exhaust fans, they get pretty cruddy as well.
Yeah. Can you disassemble those? Just like you know?
Yep. Just a couple. The AC Infinity ones are pretty easy to disassemble. There's two clamps that like actually hold the whole fan together, and it's just two screws. They come right out, and you can clean it pretty easily.
All right. I'm gonna have to do that. Gonna have to do it. And you know, I know we mentioned it on a previous show, but it could always be someone's first episode. Another heads up too, because I just noticed that there was no exhaust coming from one of my tents. Like the humidity is super high, it's seemingly like nothing being blown out of the exhaust, which had a carbon filter attached to the end. It is always the carbon filter. It's always
mortal enemy now.
the carbon filter. Like if you detach the carbon filter, you will have plenty of airflow. I assure you, if your fan's running and everything's attached correctly, your carbon filter's clogged. It has dust in it. It needs to be
And you had it set up as
re-cleaned
on the intake side, right? So all your incoming air was going.
It was exhaust. It was exhaust.
No, but I'm saying like the carbon filter was first, then the fan, right? So air goes through the filter and then through the fan, like it's pulling air through the filter. Were you pushing or pulling air?
No, pushing air through it.
Okay.
And it was on the end of the chain.
Okay.
Like the very end. I keep my exhaust fan I keep my carbon filter outside of my tent. Always have. I never understood people who like hang
because they work way better that way when you intake the air through the carbon. Night and day.
Really?
Night and day. Yeah. Plus, you got to consider if you have a leak in your ducting anywhere along the lines, none of that air is going to get through the filter. If you have it intaking the air rather than pushing it through it, every square inch of air has to scrub through that filter before it goes out the tube. So it's way more efficient to do it that way.
Fair point.
You can get both methods work, but pulling the air through it rather than pushing is more efficient.
All right. Well, I'll have to take a look at that.
You could achieve what you're trying to do without the filter in the tent, but you'd have to. It sounds crazy, but like if you had a second carbon filter, the same one, you just take the front flange off of the spare one and put it on. So you have a filter with double flanges. They sell them like that, but for some reason they're way more expensive. like a double flange carbon filter. Yeah, they're fucking for crazy money. But you can make one pretty easily just by taking the spare, flange from a sacrificial filter and putting it on.
Sacrificial
filter. Yeah.
Goodness.
I've had to do it before, man. It's cheaper sometimes to buy two filters, take the flange off one of them, than it is to buy the double flanged carbon filter.
Yeah, amen.
Oh, that's weird.
Where'd you go?
I'm still here.
Where'd you go? You know what? It is getting late anyway, guys. It reminds me we should wrap it up. As much as I would stay. Do we have any new Patreons? Let me check real quick.
We do.
While you're checking, full moon next week, the 24th to 25th. There is an eclipse during this one, so.
Oh yeah.
Skip it if you're not into the chaos.
Heard.
Interesting.
Yep.
Heard.
The worm moon.
Ooh. Why do they call it that?
I guess it's the time that the worms start coming back for the season.
Oh man, You know what so it's funny. It's funny you say that. You know what I always wait for is like one of like my signals of springtime. I call it the day of the worms, and it's the day where it, like the worms are back in action. It rains really bad sometime in like April, and you go out in the morning, and the streets are flooded with worms. Because like worms, they escape their, they try to not drown when like their homes are flooded, and they like leave and they go, and you'll see them all over the street, like crushed worms everywhere.
I have seen this before.
Can't avoid stepping on them. Like
I never thought of that.
The day of the
correlation
fucking worms,
to spring, but it makes sense.
Worm massacre.
Yeah, it's mass worm massacre. Absolutely, it's like a rite of springtime for me. I just noticed the small things about nature, the small grisly parts of it.
They just warm your cold little heart cap.
I never correlated the two, but it makes sense.
So many dead worms. Spring is coming.
Well, I didn't really, like it never really added up for me either. I noticed that it was like a thing, like once a year. It's like, well, fuck, like what is going on? And now, like, all right, makes sense. There's this certain thing called the worm moon that signals like the return of the worms.
Yep, the return.
And then it's like the first fucking heavy rain after that. You're gonna find yourself walking out of your house one day, smelling that air, and it smells like fucking disgusting crushed worms decomposing in the road. Where are those spray terps at?
Mucked worm.
We don't want spray worm terps. But yeah, interesting, really interesting.
So new Patreons. Shout out to Chucky Puppy 420.
Oh, thank you.
It's kind of a funny one.
Thank you, man.
Shout out to Opie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to Shala.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Muchos
you
gracias.
So much.
Yeah, we love y'all. Even if you can afford to support the show or not, we still love you. But for those of you who can, like, we do have some special community treats for those of you who step up to the plate. You can find us on Patreon. You can find us on Discord. The Discord is free, so come hang out with us there and use that as a resource for you. So we'll see you there.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope we see you next week when we do this show live every Tuesday night now at 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
9.
Cool. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us live in the chat. We love y'all. And until next time.